Well, hello, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of Married and Bright, the podcast. We are not affiliated or endorsed by Brightline Eating, and all content presented in this podcast represents our personal opinions and does not represent medical, nutritional, or psychological professional advice.
I usually plug it in when I set up.
I normally plug it in too, but because you did that thing the other day and didn't have it plugged in, I feel confident that we don't need it plugged in for the
Okay.
short session because this is going to be a short session.
You heard it. This is going to be short. What are we talking about? Seriously, what are we talking about? Hockey?
No, we're not talking about hockey.
Hawaii?
Nope.
Oh, I remember. I remember.
It does start with an H though.
It does. 587.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Everyone is here, so who knows what's going to happen?
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. Okay. Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Married and Bright, the podcast.
Married and bright. We are married and bright and happy.
Yep. Yeah. So we're doing things a little bit different tonight. It is Sunday night before a Monday morning release, which is not normally what we do, but we don't have any episodes for tomorrow. So this is it. This is what we're doing. We're recording right now. So if it gets a little weird and punch drunky, it's because we're
Weird and bunch.
weird and punch drunky. We've had a long day.
It's
It's
the
been a very
last
fun
Sunday
day.
after Christmas vacation.
Mhm.
So big Monday
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Kids go back to school. You're working.
working,
I'm
you are
working.
working.
I'm working a short week because we're leaving on
Yeah, you're
vacation on Wednesday. So
Scheduled to the hill.
I am. I have like a full day, a solid day of meetings, both tomorrow, which is Monday, and Tuesday. So I'm going to release this on Monday morning, and then no one's going to see me again until we get to Hawaii on Wednesday night. So, what are you listening for?
I thought I heard a door open.
Oh, anyway, so what we're going to talk about today is we have decided to do a challenge for
We challenged ourselves.
2025, which, I'm not big on New Year's resolutions. I know you don't do New Year's resolutions because typically people don't keep them. So, but I do feel like it's fun to do some kind of a goal or like a challenge. And so I did this in 2023 and I didn't make it the full way for lots of reasons. It just didn't work out. And I wasn't down on myself for that. I was just like, okay, I'll try again at some point. Last year was not the year to do that. There was a lot of things going on and I did not feel like I could do it. So we decided to do it together this year. And so our goal is,
365 miles in 365 days.
and that's hiking miles.
That's hiking miles in nature with trees and dirt and mud.
And
a lot of mud.
She says that she's making fun of me right now because I don't believe that like anything is hiking. Like walking on the sidewalk in our neighborhood does not count as hiking. It's not just like walking miles. The way that the rules that I have put forth that I follow is it has to be a trail that's on All Trails, which is an app if you guys don't know. So there's an app.
All trails will mark miles that you walk on the sidewalk. I mean, we walked on the sidewalk today.
We did walk on the sidewalk today, but it wasn't a hike.
You didn't count all the miles we walked today as a hike?
Today we went to the hockey game, dear.
Yesterday. Okay, yesterday. I'm talking yesterday. I lost a day here. Today was a wonderful hockey day. It really was. Too bad we're not talking about hockey.
We're not talking about hockey. No, we're talking about another thing. We're talking about another H thing. It's I know we're both in our
hockey.
We'll aside. We'll do
Okay.
a little quick aside. So for Christmas, I got Patty tickets to the Professional Women Hockey League's takeover tour. So they're doing, I think it's an 8-city tour of cities where there's only 6 teams in the league and they're all on the East Coast. So they're doing like an 8-city tour of places where there's not a team. And so we went to see, oh, Patty's yawning. So we went to see,
guys.
okay, so you talk so you don't yawn.
Yeah, we went to see Boston Fleet
Mhm.
against Montreal Victoire.
Mhm.
And I was rooting for the women and was like, I'm gonna root for the women because women's hockey, and I didn't have any skin in the game, so I didn't
Seattle
know.
doesn't have a team.
No.
Anaheim doesn't have a team.
No, there's no teams. The closest team we have is Minnesota,
Mhm.
and Minnesota wasn't playing. So but the first shift of the game, I was like, ooh, Boston. And so we started rooting for Boston,
Yeah.
and they went down 0-2 right away. They're the last team in the league. And Megan looked over at me one point and was like, "You really are an underdog kind of girl, aren't you?" And I am. That's how I became a Ducks fan. They were the last team. Anyway, Boston came back and won in a shootout. It
Yeah.
was an awesome game.
It was a really good game. We set, and for those of people who are not watching, who are just listening, we looked down at our clothing because we both bought,
Swag.
we bought
got
swag
swag.
today. So I have my sweatshirt for those that aren't watching.
She's borrowing it.
This is my sweatshirt. I picked it out.
Right
It's
here.
the inaugural 6 teams. So it's the 6 teams that are in the league right now, which is the first 6 teams of the league. So, and there's a hair. And then Patty has it says
It's a long sleeve t-shirt.
PWHL hockey. And I also got her for Christmas along with the tickets. I got her, and she has it underneath the shirt. It's a shirt that says the jailbreak goal, which is a rule that they have in women's hockey that they don't have in the NHL, the men's hockey league. We're not going to go into that.
Yes, we
because-
won't,
nope.
because I haven't found the perfect way to
Google
explain it
Google
yet.
it. Google
Jailbreak goal,
jailbreak goal, and then I also got her a beanie, the beanie from the
which is why my hair looks like this.
Anyway, so that's what we did today, and it's been a long day, but a great day. But yesterday we hiked, so we started our hiking challenge yesterday, which is what she was talking about earlier because it was very muddy. But we did what we call our neighborhood hike. Yeah, because it's just like a couple miles away, and it does walk through some neighborhood.
It does walk some neighborhood, but there's hills, and
mostly it's in the woods.
It
which
is
what I consider hiking, and when I want to hike, that's what I want to do. I want to go be in the woods. So just to try to get some miles clocked, we did this hike yesterday because we had a few hours and we thought we would get some done, which was good. It was very muddy because in the wintertime, the Pacific Northwest is just very wet here.
wet.
And it's like if you're not going someplace where there's snow on the ground, you're pretty much going to be hiking through mud and you just have to deal with it.
And we did. We wore our hiking boots, and they were dirty, and we ended up walking through grass. So I think it
Yeah.
cleaned most of them, but I'm sure they're still dirty. But if your hiking boots aren't dirty, you're not doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that the main thing that we have to think about now is that, a weekly average of 7 miles to get to 365. Sometimes it'll be more, sometimes it'll be less.
This
But
week it was less.
it
We
was
did
less.
just under 5.
yeah. But next week we plan on doing more because we're going to be in Hawaii on vacation and we have a big hike planned. So we'll catch up a little bit then. The other thing to say is that like here in the Pacific Northwest in the wintertime, the days are very short. And so in the summertime, you just get a lot more light and you can go out like after work. Like, I mean, in the summertime, it's easy to go out for just like a couple hours and get some miles in after work because the sun's out till 10 p.m. So you've got
In the
all
winter,
sunlight.
not so much.
Yeah.
You're looking at
4:30.
4:30 and it's done. But, we're still going to log miles. We're not going to log less miles in the winter. We're still average. We're going to try to average 7 miles a week.
We're going to try. So that was
Yeah.
my struggle. I mean, and I don't know how much you and I have actually even talked about this. Is like that was my struggle when I tried this in 2023 is that I eventually it was moving into the fall, I had gotten so far behind that I was like, there is no way I'm going to catch up. So I didn't stop hiking. I just stopped pushing to the goal and I stopped, I stopped just clocking my miles. So towards that goal because I knew I wasn't going to make it. So it wasn't. And again, it was cathartic to let it go and say like, okay, this isn't something I'm going to achieve this year and that's okay. But I think it's also fun to pick it back up again and try again. So.
And I think it's a good idea that we log some extra miles in the summer and get ahead of the game. So
that
when
was
it
always
comes down to it.
that was always my goal when I did it before was to
Then
try
she
and
was
get
doing it
ahead.
right.
I was trying, but it doesn't, life gets lifey sometimes. Things get in the way. And
does.
so yeah, so that's what we'll try and get, one hike in a week. So if not more, I mean more would be obviously better, but life's gonna get lifey. It's not always gonna work out.
But we're on the way, and we're going to do it. She's doing 365 miles in the year. I'm going to do 587 kilometers because
Which is the same thing. She just likes to be a nerd.
a little bit, but I work in kilometers, or steps,
I'm rolling my eyes right
My
now, guys.
10,000 steps don't even count because I walk in the neighborhood. I walk the hill on our street because it's a good hill, and I get some good, uphill
Okay.
work in there. But you know what? After last night, oh my gosh, the cramps I had last night in the middle of the night.
She's talking about leg
Talking
cramps,
about-
people.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, my inner thighs. Like, what did I do? What did I do out there? I have no idea. I should drink more water.
Yeah. I went to a Pilates class right after we hiked, but it was a stretch class, so I have to put that out there. It wasn't my typical, Pilates class. It was a class that was focused
It
mainly
was
on
mom's first
stretching.
Pilates class.
It was my mom's first Pilates class, which was really fun.
She had a
So,
Pilates.
yeah, she had a Pilates, just one. Next weekend, she's gonna have another Pilates, so then she'll have a Pilates.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I think we wanted to, I mean, I think, the discussion is to put out there this challenge and just, remain accountable for it, but also just, and we'll be posting, for those that are in like the Brightline Eating community, we'll be posting on Brightline Eating, we'll be posting on There's a Bright Movers, page. We'll be posting it all over for those that follow us on
Did you
social.
post it on your main account?
Not on my main account,
Yeah.
no.
We might.
Oh no, like my personal Facebook page?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my personal Facebook page
Yeah.
I did. Not on my Instagram though.
No, not on your Instagram.
Nobody cares on my Instagram. I don't know if that's true. People might care, but I might post about it at some point on my Instagram.
She wants to become a women's hockey professional women's hockey league ambassador.
Well, no. So they're trying to get a team here in Seattle. So like I don't know
we
how we
need
got
it.
back
Seattle,
back
come
on
on.
hockey. So we're back on hockey again, guys. Sorry. But
Not sorry.
It would be really amazing to have a women's hockey team here in Seattle. And so that's part of what they're doing with this tour of cities is they're going to cities that they think have some interest in to see. So someone actually put in the in my post that Climate Pledge only holds 16,000.
Oh, really?
So there was like
12,600.
12,604. Yeah. Yeah. So there random. Anyway, but so all that to say that we packed out the arena today, which was, it's a good sign that there's a chance. But there's a group that's doing, some campaigning to try and get a team here. And I'm interested to try and help them because I think that'd be really cool. So
we would definitely be season ticket holders.
Yeah, and that's what I put on. They have like a little like message thing, and I was like my wife already promised that we'd be season ticket holders if we get a team here in Seattle. So
we need a team.
We need a team so we can be season ticket holders. Anyway, back to hiking, which is what we're supposed to be talking about.
Yes, we're gonna hike.
So I think the other thing to talk about too is when you add extra movement, that there is a potential because we're both in maintenance with BLE. So shifting this to a food conversation, is that
food.
So shifting
food conversation,
shifting the conversation to food, which is with the extra movement. Thanks. Just getting my brain back on track. With the extra food, the conversation that we have to have with ourselves as being two people who are in maintenance with Brightline Eating is that we eat enough food to maintain a weight, and that's what we consume. And so for the most part over the winter months, we haven't been doing a lot of hiking. And so I've been doing Pilates. And so the amount of food that I've been consuming is a good amount of food for, someone who's doing Pilates 3 times a week and pretty much sitting on their butt the rest of the week.
That's what we figured out. The optimum amount of food for the amount of activity we've been doing. But now we're upping our activity.
Right. So for me, it's for the last 3 months, eating the amount of food I've been eating, I've been weighing exactly the same, 3 months over, month over month over month. So now it's adding an extra movement, knowing that I'm going to be hiking at least 7 miles a week. What am I going to need to do? And so what I had done a couple times in the fall, when we went on long hikes, is I would add a 4th meal. So I would add in a meal, a mini meal or whatever you want to call it, that was protein, grain, and fruit, because I felt like after a hike, that was kind of what would sustain me and what my body was probably needing. And so the conversation now is when is that going to happen? Right? Because I think that's what you and I were talking about. Is it going to happen directly after the hike, which is when we did it the couple of times we did it in the, the fall. Yeah, we went to Mount Rainier. Or this weekend, it got, not that it got squirrely as in my food didn't get squirrely, but just I didn't plan for it yesterday when we hiked. And so I chose to do it today because I do believe that there is some residual effects.
We were feeling dizzy.
I felt like it this morning before breakfast. And so I knew I probably needed to up my food. So that's kind of my plan. My plan is on the days that we hike, I'll have that, I'll have that mini meal, I'll have that 4th meal because I think my body will need it to sustain. And then I'm going to continue to weigh month over month at this point and see. And as long as my weight is maintaining, we're going to stick with that. And that's what I'm going to do. And if I need to change anything, I'll change something. And, for me, I think that that's the sanest thing for me to do because it helps me to not be hungry. to sustain my body and it doesn't escalate beyond. You know, I think when I first started thinking about that, because I went on an accountability call and I talked to one of the coaches, I was like, oh, am I going to just hike to eat food? But I never did that.
No.
I never was like, oh, I gotta hike so I can eat. And so that's not, I mean, I just don't think that's the way my brain works. It's like, oh, I'm gonna need to eat an extra
We need more
meal
fuel.
because I'm moving my body more. And so, was it you that said that that's one of the things that was a big takeaway from Susan's latest? Or was it somebody on the noon Zoom?
Maybe noon Zoom, maybe your Sunday meeting. I don't know.
Yeah, somebody said recently that they said one of the biggest takeaways that they were taking from one of the things that Susan was saying in the master class is that food is fuel. And if it's anything more than that, then it's wrong. I mean, I don't mean that's a extreme paraphrase. I'm not quoting Susan Pierce Thompson, but just that's what we should be using food for. We should be using food for fuel. And so that's what it is. It's fuel. And so that's the way that I'm going to maintain.
It's great.
What are your thoughts?
I'm already moving my food around, trying to get more protein. I'm doing different things where I need more protein. So I have been trying to find that optimum level, and I feel like I'm eating too much food. So I'm not going to have any extra meals and see if I can't, shave off some pounds that I've added on. So that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. But I think the other thing is that we both are fully autonomous in our program of each other, first and foremost, but also we're autonomous in our program from, that there's no BLE police and that, this is our program to do what we choose to do with, and like what we call bright is bright. And of course, like that doesn't mean that we're eating things that are non-compliant. It doesn't mean that we're eating outside of our committed food. It means that, like if we want to shift around our food one day a week, or if we want to add food one day a week or 2 days a week or whatever that looks like that can be part of my program. And so I've had the discussion before with my mastermind group and they were all on board, and I'll continue to have these discussions, and Patty and I will talk about it, like just to make sure that it's not getting out of control or anything like that, but that's, definitely my plan. I love to hike, man.
But you know what? That's the thing with BLE is this is our life. This is, this is what, it's one day at a time and we're doing this today and that's all we can think of, but this is what we're doing for the rest of our lives. And we need to find the program that sustains our level of activity, our level of life, and maintains our weight. And that's what we're trying to figure out, and that we can tailor Bright Line Eating to that end is what I love about this program.
Yeah.
One of the many things that I love about it. But
yeah,
we keep our eyes on our own plate and
but we still talk about it. I mean, like that's the thing, is it's not that just because, I mean, it's funny because we had another couple here over the weekend at a meetup, which was interesting to hear the way that they described the way that they work the program together, because I was like, oh, it seems like such a foreign concept, like the way that they choose to do it. And it works for them. Like, and that's all that matters, is that the way that they choose to do it works for them. But I guess, and that's interesting. We should ask them if they want to be on the podcast. That would be a really interesting thing to talk to them about how they work. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think it would be really interesting to have them, because I feel like they do the program so much differently than we do together.
Right. Differently, but together.
Yeah. So I think that's
I like the ebb and flow of their program, and one picks it up when the other one's feeling exhausted. And we should get them on.
Yeah, it would be a really interesting conversation.
We already need to have them over for dinner too.
We do.
I didn't send that text yet either.
Yeah, we will. Anyway, we're getting ready to go to Hawaii in just a couple of days, and there are going to be many couples there that we're hoping we're going to take podcast equipment. So we're hoping we're going to have some interviews with them. We'll have some time in Hawaii when we're doing podcasting, even if it's just two of us. But
because this is our last episode.
This is our last episode. We're going to have something.
So next week's going to be a Hawaii episode.
It's going to be a Hawaii episode. Come what may, unless we record in the next 2 days, which we're probably not going to do because we haven't started packing yet, and it's stressing Patty out.
It's stressing me out a little bit. It's not stressing Megan out because she's off all day Wednesday.
I'm off all day Wednesday, and we don't leave till 6:30. So
6:30?
That's what time our flight is.
That's what time our flight is. We leave at 4:30, and you have Pilates.
Like Pilates is gonna take me all day. Okay.
I'm just saying.
We're gonna get packed.
We will.
Everything's gonna get there.
I have a list.
It's gonna be okay. Patty has a list. Um,
What was I supposed to add to the list?
Mm.
I don't remember. Okay.
so hiking. That was what this episode was gonna be about, or was supposed to be about, but we kind of went all
We
over
talked
the
about
map.
hiking.
We did.
We did.
We talked about hockey. We talked about Hawaii. It's the H.
H episode. It's the H episode.
We didn't even mean it. It's the H episode. Hawaii, hockey, and hiking.
Love it.
Yeah, so we will go on a big hike in Hawaii next week, and we're excited about that.
Yes.
Maybe we'll watch some hockey in Hawaii too.
Maybe.
Anything else that we want to say with an H in it today?
Mm,
I feel like we're on Sesame Street.
I know. I know. No, I can't think of anything else.
Okay. Yeah. Again, this is a Sunday night recording for a Monday morning release, which is just so unusual. We don't normally leave it like this, but
Mm-mm.
like Patty said, it's like this is the last week. This is the last day before Christmas vacation is over for everyone. We all basically go back to full time, and then we had this trip planned, so we'll be gone for a week. So yeah. Okay.
It's
Well,
time for bed.
it is time for bed. And hopefully this isn't too crazily disjointed,
You're gonna edit that
thoughtful.
breakout.
I'm gonna edit the break in the
Okay,
middle.
good.
So the kids called me out in the middle, so there might be a little weird jaunty thing in the middle, but I got called it because the kids are here and we don't normally record with the kids here, but I heard mom 3 times, so I was like, oh, I should probably see what's going on. They didn't say Patty though, they just said mom. Sometimes they say Patty too, and then we both go running. Yeah. Okay, I think that is our episode for this evening, and yeah,
Good night.
bye-bye. That was so bad.
Wasn't that bad? That's
It
good.
was all over the place.
A little bit.
Mm.
And that's the show. Thank you for tuning in. If you would like to contact us, you can email us at pattyandmegan@gmail.com or hit us up on any of our socials. Have a beautiful, bright day.